All right, today we have a knife from the Oz Machine Company. Daniel Osborne started the Oz Machine Company several years ago. Brought his brother in to help. I don't know all the history and the details, but it's a very small manufacturing company that makes knives, pry bars, pens, kind of your typical EDC stuff in Attica, Indiana. So kind of brings back a little bit of nostalgia for me, if you will, because my mom was from Indiana and went to school there, nursing school, go Hoosiers and whatnot. So, a little bit about me. There you go. Not that anybody cared. So this is the Roosevelt XL. Here is a little bit of information about it. It is brand new. It was just made less than a month ago. Today is August 8th at the time I'm filming. So yeah, this was made a month ago. A friend, Paul Gurry, as he goes by, won it in a lotto during one of my live streams because we were on the live stream and I saw the chat going back and forth, and he won it in a lotto during the live stream and commented about it. Everybody was super excited for him, blah, 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 blah. And he got it and turned around and put it back in the mail to me like the next day. Told me to carry it, told me to use it, told me to cut with it, told me to, treat it like it was my own. Which I'm very grateful for people that send me things, number one. And I also like the fact that they trust me enough to tell me to carry it. Oh, cool. All right. So anyway, we're going to go through some of the specs, but I'm not going to get as detailed. It's a Roosevelt. They've been out for years. The XL version is a little different because it is, well, a little extra. I did the first Roosevelt video of mine about 2 years ago. I did not go back and watch the video, but I did look at the thumbnail, and apparently I liked it back then. And I still like it now. It was designed to Spidey flick, reverse flick, stupid open. So I can do that because it was made for that. Normally, I don't like that opening method, but it does work with your thumb as well. And it actually, I meant to you can front flip it, which again, I think is silly. And you can slow roll it out and get to work. I like this configuration a lot. CPM 20 CV stonewash blade. Titanium frame lock. Okay, we've seen 4 million titanium frame locks out there. So, but titanium backspacer, titanium pocket clip. The hell? I was thinking about the pivots, which is also titanium. Now, what is cool about this is every part and piece you're seeing here, they make in-house. I mean, they obviously don't make the CPM 20 CV. They don't make the raw titanium. Let's be real here. But they machine everything out. They machine out the pivots. They machine the hardware, is all out of titanium as well. AEBL hardened lock bar insert. Ceramic bearings, which they make the bearings as well. I am assuming they buy the balls and they buy the Delrin or the Delrin cages, and then they drill the holes and they set the bearings in the Delrin cage. I'm sure they're not making the actual ceramic balls. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure somebody will comment, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm just a knucklehead with a freaking camera. If you want exact, perfect historical details, I'm not the guy. I'm just an average guy talking about knives that I like and knives I don't like, because I like to talk about those too. Something unique. It is, like I said, ceramic bearings. ceramic detent, but there are two detents. They're two detent balls. They are both in line. All right. It's hard for me to even see with the naked eye on a flashlight, so I'm not even going to try to show you. But think of one. Do I have something to point with? Basically, there is one about here, and there is one about here, give or take. And they're in the same plane this way. What it does, according to their website, is it just helps distribute the pressure of the lock bar on the blade. And it just kind of comes off the lock bar a little bit smoother. There was one detent ball, and there's the other one, and then the lock. So you can barely tell the difference when you hit the first ball is right there. Yeah, it's a thing. It's different. So now these are not cheap. And I'm not going to totally get into pricing, but let's talk about the price. Let's talk about a couple specs. 4.5 inches, 8.5 inches. Weighs in at 5.1 ounces. What else do I have on my list here? I think I covered everything on my list already, which is awesome. I didn't go into the blade and the behind the edge and all that crap. It is sharp. I love the finishing, as I mentioned before. It is a titanium frame lock, and it's about $900 and something. Okay. In this configuration, I don't know exactly. I found one on their website. It's $930. I think that's probably a good ballpark. The standard Roosevelt, which is about a half an inch shorter, starts at $700. The XL is around $900. For an American-made, custom production, CNC custom, if you will, knife that has great action and is great in the hand. I'm not saying that's too much. I'm just saying it's about $1,000. You can get a custom up in Canada, different configuration, obviously. Fat carbon fiber, S35 VM blade, flipper tab, liner lock. It's about $325. Now, I'm not one to talk bad about pricing because I'm also the guy who buys a Todd Rexford. It's a liner lock, so it's a little different, but it's a titanium liner lock with 154 CM blade steel. A little smaller than the Roosevelt. And quite a bit more expensive by a factor, like legit. Okay. We've got a four-figure, like a $1,000 knife and a $10,000 knife. So I'm not saying that $1,000 is bad. The action on this is great. Like I'm not comparing them. They are different. But are they that different? You got some crazy milling. Got a hand rub satin finish blade. You got ceramic bearings, custom pivots. I mean, it's a perfectionist-ish type knife, inset liner lock even. A lot of milling on the inside of the scales, which you don't have the milling on the inside of this one. It's just slabs, I think. I looked. I don't think there's any. Oh, there is milling. I'm sorry. There is milling on the show side. Okay? With the Todd Rexford, there is milling on both sides, sort of. Mostly on the show side. But because it is an inset liner lock, there is obviously milling on the lock side so that it has room for that liner. Okay. But for average normal people, $1,000 is going to be a lot for a titanium frame lock. Again, I'm not busting on the price. There is a lot that goes into it. And they're doing just lotteries now, which is not my favorite way of doing business. I get it. The books are closed. They're only doing lotteries. I don't know how I feel about that. I believe this is number 237. They are sequentially numbered. So this is the 237th XL that they have made, I believe, because I think they were in the 700s of the normal sized one. So let me give you a couple of size comparisons here. We showed you the Todd Rexford already, which I'm super excited to own. I'm honored to own. Is it a perfect knife? Is it my favorite knife in my collection? No, it's not necessarily. It's a bit small for my hands, but I had an opportunity to get it, and I did, and I am glad to have a Rexford in my collection. Is this the Rexford of all time for my collection? I don't know. There are others I might like better, and maybe one day I will trade up to something a bit bigger size. I don't know. I will say I am surprised, but I like this Roosevelt very, very much. Yeah, I like everything about it. And for $930, I don't think it's a terrible deal. It's sharp as hell. Bronze is usually not my color, but it works for this one really well. And the finish on the blade is fantastic. And it just feels great in the hand. I liked the Roosevelt standard version, but I like this one much more because I like a bigger handful of a knife. So there you go. I thought this video was going to be much, much shorter because I didn't go through all the specs and the details and whatnot. However, I rambled on a little bit much. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have a Roosevelt of either variation. And go check out their website. What's cool about the website is you can buy pens. You can also buy hardware. If you were to take this apart and lose a screw because it hit your table and bounced off and got lost in the carpet, it happens. So I'm told. Or if you stripped a screw, these are all T8s, the body screws and the pivot, which is cool. If you were to strip a screw, scratch it up, you can buy new screws. You can buy new bearings. You can buy the parts and pieces that you might need to repair this. You can buy new stop pins. You can buy O-rings for their pens. So they make it really easy to service your tools, unlike other companies that tell you you're not allowed to touch it with a tool or you void your warranty. I mean, I think most companies are coming around now and letting you work on your own knives, but it's nice that you can just buy the parts and pieces that you need from the company. That means a lot to me as a consumer. If you as the company are willing to sell new screws, new bearings, things like that, because stuff goes wrong, stuff breaks, stuff gets gunked up, stuff gets lost, whatever. And to know that I can just go there, reach out and order the parts and pieces that I need, that just gives me a little warm feeling as a consumer. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts. I greatly appreciate your time. If you've made it this far, comment Rosie down below.